From David Amram, Fug Ed Sanders, now 75 years young. It just seems like yesterday, or maybe the day before yesterday, that back in 1965, I went by and met the young poet Ed Sanders at the Peace-Eye bookstore. It didn't take long to realize that Ed was someone who questioned what we were all told was the one and only way to lead our lives. And his suggestions of how we could straighten out a lot of the messes that we were in made a lot of sense. And he never presented his ideas with a holier-than-thou attitude. I thought since I was 9 years older than Ed, that it was great to see a young guy who was so gifted and who, with all his activism, was still able to accomplish so much as an artist. And now in 2014, 49 years later, he is still doing it. Every time I have heard him sing, since those first memorable days with the Fugs, he gets better. Today he can mesmerize an audience when accompanying himself, and his gorgeous song for Alan melts the hearts of all who hear him sing it. Ed's endless energy and prolific output as a poet, journalist, editor, and fiction writer are a source of inspiration to young folks as well as to those like myself who are entering into the hallowed halls of golden age geezerdom. Ed found his path in life a long time ago and has stayed on it. Another contemporary of Ed's, Bob Dylan, entitled his classic song, Forever Young. That's a good description of Ed. Happy birthday, young fella. Invasion of the Erotobots. Hawking says that computers will take over the search for the cosmic sublime. Humans stand aside while supercomputers figure out the meaning of time. But there's one invention Hawking doesn't mention. Computer-driven thrill machines, a smooth-skinned robot with a cunning brain. Give you so much fun it will drive you insane. Here they come, and coming down the hill. Zom, 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 zom. It's the invasion of the Erotobots. They got green Erotobots that come from Mars and Hollywood Erotobots that look like stars. You can rent a Sphinx with a long tawny tail or King Athena with a dress of chainmail. There are male bots, girl bots, tranny bots, and sado bots, and gay bots, bi bots, Christian bots, and bots with veils. They even teach them sympathy and how to weep and sing soft lullabies to make you sleep. Here they come, coming down the hill. Zom, 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 zom. It's the invasion of the Erotobots. Some are programmed to be true to you, but some are programmed to make you blue. They promise to be faithful and help you feel good. Then they sneak out to ball the whole neighborhood. Here they come, coming down the hill. Zom, zom, zom. It's the invasion of the Erotobots. The moral of this story is an apple made of steel will come to dominate even Adam's meal. There's only one small problem, and it's wiggling on the plate. These Erotobots have learned to replicate. So here they come, coming down the hill. Zom, zom, zom. It's the invasion of the Erotobots. The invasion of the Erotobots. The invasion of the Erotobots. And from Devin Waldman for Edward Sanders. True bard, shimmer never goes out, never fades, never dims. Flow of strife, data, world war, syndicates of samsara churn in harsh light. But bard light holds its own. shine, trickster shine, wise bearded twinkling witch shine, nod to both, multiverse of negative capability, to archive of spirit throb, ecstatic chant and song. How afire this spire, in a swerve to Elder Valik Ginsburg, broad shimmering Sanders unbeknownst conjures his own power and stature, multicolored penetrating thought forms, dulcet notes of gentle shy personhood, restless desk activist throes of peace and justice, investigative epic poetry thrums, oh hieroglyphic metabolism, tribute and long life to the true bard he is, all hues of his resplendent poet birth emanate here. True bard shimmer never goes out, never fades, never dims. Happy birthday, Ed. Now we got Sparrow. Where are you?
Okay.
Sparrow will be your tour guide for the rest of the evening.
You have to hold it here.
Thank you, Steve. Let's hear it for Steve Dalachinsky. Instead of levitating the Pentagon, our next reader performed telekinesis on the Park Slope Post Office. Thelma Blitz.
Yeah.
Hi. Okay. I found this in Tooley's book, The Fucks. It's the Festival of Life. It's about the Chicago Democratic National Convention where the yippies gathered to try to get Eugene McCarthy nominated instead of Hubert Humphrey. And so Ed wrote and published in the Berkeley Barb on August 2nd to 8th, 1968, predictions for yippie activities. Poetry readings, mass meditation, fly casting exhibition, demagogic yippie political arousal speeches, rock music, song concerts will be held on a precise timetable throughout the week of August 25th through 30th. 2. A dawn ass-washing ceremony with tens of thousands of participating will occur each morning at 5 a.m. as hippie revelers and protesters prepare for 7 a.m. volleyball tournaments. There were 100,000 anti-war, I just learned it on CNN last night, there were 100,000 of them. All right, several hundred yippie friends with press passes will gorge themselves on 800 pounds of cocktail onions and puke in unison at the nomination of Hubert H. Pastry. That was Hubert Humphrey, who did get nominated eventually. Psychedelic, long-haired mutism, peace leftists will consort with known dope fiends, spilling out onto the sidewalks in poor and ape disarray each afternoon. 5. The Chicago offices of the National Biscuit Company will be hijacked on principle to provide bread and cookies for 50,000 as a gesture of goodwill to the youth of America. 6. Universal Syrup Day will be held on Wednesday, when a movie will be shown at Soldiers Field in which Hubert Humphrey confesses to Allen Ginsberg of his secret approval of anal intercourse. 7. Filth will be worshipped. 8. The Yippie Ecological Conference will spew out an angry report denouncing the shice poison in the lakes and streams, industrial honky fumes from white killer industrialists, and exhaust murder from a sick hamburger society of automobile freaks, with precise total assault solutions to these problems. There will be public fornication wherever and whenever there is an aroused appendage and a willing aperture. Well, how can the police resist an event like this? All right. Poets will rewrite our Bill of Rights in precise language, detailing 10,000 areas of freedom in our own language to replace confusing and vague rhetoric of 200 years ago. Reporters and media representatives will be provided free use of dope and consciousness-altering thrill chemicals for their education and refreshment. It's 1968, this is written. Pissed-off hordes of surly draft-eligible poets will somehow confront conventioneers with 16 tons of donated fish eyes. All right, so that was the prediction, and you know what happened. I don't have to tell you, if you watched CNN the other night, you know that the police had to come to this party and put an end to it. So I want to say happy birthday to Ed, who I see as one of the best minds of our generation who has not been destroyed by madness.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, he's writing 3 books at this time, right?
I think I'm going to now read my speech for Ed. Ed Sanders is a prolific poet, the progenitor and chief exemplar of investigative poetry, as well as the inventor of the talking tie, a musical necktie, and the microtonal microlyre. Even before the MC5, Ed was the godfather of punk.
Yeah.
Ed Sanders and Thule Kupferberg were the Lennon-McCartney of the utopian anarchist William Blake-ophile free-flying in counterculture. And in 1,500 years, the Fugs may well be remembered and the Beatles forgotten. But Ed and Thule did not become estranged like John and Paul. And in fact, Ed is still married to his first wife and still married to his first political commitment, a peaceful social order without racism, exploitation, and chicken McNuggets. It is part of my luck as a whispering modern-day quasi-journalist that I may speak to my heroes and ask them their secrets. Ed kindly agreed to be interviewed for this speech and told me that he had graduated from NYU with a degree in classics just a few months before founding the Fugs in late 1964. Why did he create this musical maelstrom? I quote, "The reason I formed the Fugs was I was too late applying for graduate school. So I just needed something to do." Also, the band, contrary to legend, was not originally named the Fucks. In fact, Ed and Thule Kupferberg had a long list of names, the top 2 contenders being the Yodeling Socialists, which was Ed's favorite, and the Freaks, until Thule stole a word from Norman Mailer's The Naked and the Dead. Also, I learned that Ed considered returning to NYU to get a PhD in Indo-European linguistics, that he has never read his Wikipedia page, and that he has moments when he looks in the mirror and thinks, "This is a career?" Well, we, the loyal tribe of utopian anarchist William Blake-ophile free-flying soul comrades, are here to announce, yes, this is a career. Thank you for 75 years of ceaseless dream clarity and cowboy fearlessness. Mensch is the German word for man, but in Yiddish has a much more noble connotation, a person who follows the path of goodness. Ed is a mensch. He performs many private acts of kindness, which I would happily enumerate, except that this list would depress all of us who do not perform such deeds, and besides, his acts of kindness would no longer be private. Ed confessed to me, perhaps unwisely, that each time he gets a book published, he goes out into his driveway in Woodstock and first checking that no one is watching, does a victory dance. I will now perform a victory dance for Ed Sanders on his 75th birthday.
Yeah. Come on, come on.
So are you ready here?
Ready?
Okay. Inspired by Ed setting William Blake to rock music, our next performer transformed Tintern Abbey by Wordsworth into a polka. I give you Ratso!
A lot of people have come up already and are going to be coming up all night to talk about how Ed has changed their lives with his poesy, his investigative reportage, and with the music he made with his mates Thule and Ken and the rest of the Fugs. I'm one of them, and my life-altering story praising the Fugs can be found on YouTube or in Thelma's vast archives. But I want to honor Ed in a little different way tonight. I want to show that the influence of the Fugs lives on in the generations that followed him. I want to introduce you to a new band that resurrects the spirit of the group Grope Gobble.
Means that I have been a fan of Ed Sanders for 48 years. Ed, you have been a huge influence on me, on my ability to think, on my standards. Being that I was from the generation behind you, when the East Village still had the good taste not to network, I never met you until very lately, past, 10, 12 years. But you've always been an incredibly important figure, and I believe that beside the Fugs, which was of course totally central to me when I was 15, I think that when I read your Charles Manson book, it showed me what was possible in terms of combining art, reality, and content. And I think that that makes you a huge influence on my entire body of work. So I wrote this a half hour ago. Well, they said 3 minutes, so I thought, oh God, I can't do anything I do. Ed Sanders, man of the word, man of the world, man of Miriam, man of Deirdre, man of Fugs, man of song, man of Goof City, man of revolution, man of the Fugs, man of Gem Spa, man of the hieroglyphic, man of the eye, man of Blake, man of the mimeograph, man of the LES, man of Tuli Kupferberg, man of assault on culture, man of beauty and truth, man of disobey, man of the Mongolian clusterfuck, man of legalized marijuana, Lamar, man of history, man of rare books, man of Harry Smith, man of mudra, man of vast change, man of 500 BC, man of Abbie Hoffman and Piero Helitzer, man of peace, man of the meatball, man of fuck you, man of yippee, man of Ted Berrigan, man of jail, man of the Catholic worker and Dorothy Day, man of Stanley's, man of serious research, man of Bob Greeley, man of 8th Street Bookshop, man of Odessa's, man of Ron Rice, man of the ASAT, man of Hunky, Auden, and Pound, man of the secret location, man of Charles Olson, man of theology of instant gratification, man of jail, man of exorcism, man of call to action, man of the toe queen, man of Grace Paley and Bob Nichols, man of ancient Greek, man of Julian Beck and Judith Malina, man of Beans, man of Woodstock, man of DePrima, Snyder and Duncan, man of civil rights and civil disobedience, man of Missouri, man of Ken Weaver, man of moratoriums, man of the truck stop, man of Jewish socialist history, man of Bugger, man of film culture and Jonas Mekas, man of Chicago 8, man of the psychedelicatessen, man of the summer of love, man of commune, man of Paul Krasner, man of Yum, man of voter registration, man of ballads, man of Frank O'Hara, man of memory, man of punk rock, man of Manson, man of theogamy, man of Tompkins Square Park, man of trials and hearings, man of beatnik glory, man of Spain Rodriguez, man of surveillance, man of Sappho, man of perception, man of George Plimpton and Pan O'Grady, man of dreams into ashes, man of better world coming. Thank you.
Instead of chanting a Blakean lament on the sunflower's weariness, the next reader went to Texas to cultivate a farm of carnivorous sundew flowers, into which Rick Perry stumbled, whereupon he was devoured. I give you Judith Malina.
Happy birthday. I would like to do two short poems. One is a verse by me. It's hardly a poem, it's a verse. In homage to Ed Sanders. And the other is a much better poem by Robert Louis Stevenson, who wrote something that I consider relevant to our situation now. Ed Sanders showed me how a poem was a cup. It held the words that poured out poetry. His poem, heralding the spring, hung over me all winter like a sheath for Damocles. He knows the secret words that only poets know and shows us how they are our daily speech. Language by language, word for word, he spans the lexicon and brings them home to us. Now, as he enters the age of wisdom, I offer him my 88-year-old hand, that we may walk together toward the revelation that ends in revolution.
Yeah.
I want to read this poem of Robert Louis Stevenson, who wrote about an inspiration that's been an inspiration for me, just the last 2 lines of it. And as you reach the age of wisdom, it becomes more important what he's saying. It's a very well-known poem. It's called "Dark brown is the river, golden is the sand. It flows along forever, with trees on either hand. Brown leaves are floating, castles on the foam, boats of mine are boating. When will all come home?" Along flows the river, along past the hill, along past the meadow, along past the mill, along flows the river, 100 miles or more. Other little children will bring our boats to shore. Other little children will bring our boats to shore.
Inspired by investigative poetry, our next writer composed a 1,200-page poem about the Wyoming Fish and Game Association. Yuko Otomo.
One poem, I thought this is one of the most philosophical love poem I've ever read. And this is from Why Hesitate to Know All Gentle Things? The poem is called My Boat is Overturned. It starts with hieroglyphic drawing letter, which you're missing it. It's beautiful little thing, boat overturned with a pole. My boat was overturned. My boat was overturned. It was hard to set it right. When part of me loved the waterfall and part the land. At 5 a.m., I sat on the bed with my face bent forward into my hands, wondering how to get out the door to you.
Happy birthday.